Episode number 1 of the Clay Young Show is here, and our guest is Mayor President Sharon Weston Broome. Roll it, Ed.
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling nice. I feel that everything is going away. I'm feeling pretty, so right. Feeling everything is going away.
Really excited about beginning this conversation with you, a weekly dialogue about the subjects and issues that you care about. And our guest in studio is someone who's very important to where this region is going. Of course, our parish president and the mayor of the city of Baton Rouge, the Honorable Sharon Weston Broome. How are you, Mayor?
I'm doing well, Clay.
So there's a lot we want to get to, so we're going to jump right in. First up, let's talk a little bit about you. People who have seen you in politics, and you have run the gamut of elected office. You sat on the city council, you were in the House of Representatives, you were in the state senate, now you're the mayor president. But you're originally from Chicago, but have kind of been seasoned and grown in Baton Rouge. Kind of talk about that.
Oh, absolutely. You know, our story is a story, and my story that is captured in Isabel Wilkerson's book, The Warmth of Other Suns. And in there, she talks about the Great Migration. My father was born in Ethel, Louisiana. My mom was born in Kosciuszko, Mississippi. They migrated during that season and ended up in Chicago, met each other, married, and I was a product of that relationship. And so we came full circle because the longer my dad and mom stayed up there, especially my dad, the older he became. By the way, my dad was 53 when I was born, and my mother was 44. So I'm kind of a product of an Abraham-Sarah situation.
Right.
And so the older my dad became, the less tolerant he was of the cold weather. So one day he made this big pronouncement. He said, "Look, I'm tired of the cold weather. I'm moving back. We're moving south." And so we moved back to Baton Rouge. And now it's been a 42-year journey that I have been here and called Baton Rouge my home. And I often tell people, Clay, from the very first day that I came here, I never had a second thought about returning to Chicago because of the hospitality of the folks here, the food.
Oh, yeah.
And even the warm weather. It was so great for me to spend my first Christmas and only have to put on a sweater.
Yeah, well, it's hot as donut grease outside right now, so you must be in heaven. You know, you talk about your family, obviously.
Yeah.
Dr. Broome, the first gentleman, as you like to talk about, and you've got children and grandchildren.
Yeah, so my husband, we met through mutual friends in College Station, Texas. He was a widower. I had been single for about 100 years. I went to College Station, and my friends said, "Look, we have somebody we want you to meet." Now, at my age, at that time, you can imagine how many times have I heard people say, "We have somebody we want you to meet."
Well, hang on. Hold that thought. I want you to finish that story. We have to take a quick commercial break. As we're going to do on this show every week, we're going to show you the sights and sounds of the city of Baton Rouge, and we'll be back in just a moment to continue our conversation with Mayor Broome. Well, we're back with Mayor President Sharon Weston Broome. You were talking about meeting Marvin and starting a family and all of that.
Yeah, so we met through mutual friends in College Station, Texas. I was visiting them one weekend. They said, we have someone for you to meet. And as Marvin often says, it turned into a 12-hour date from breakfast to dinner. And almost a year to the date that we met each other, we were married. And he was a widower. I felt like there was not really a connection when we first met because I could see he was still grieving the loss of his wife. And but eventually we reconnected through a letter writing campaign, and that started our journey. And so everyone moved here to Baton Rouge, and we became a family over years.
Yeah.
And I am enormously blessed to be the mom of 3 children and 3 grandchildren, and it has indeed been a journey.
Well, I know it has, and speaking of a journey, the journey in politics has led you to where you are right now in elected office, and I want to get to a couple of subjects to talk about today. Let's start first with public safety crime. I mean, everybody's talking about it right now, and there's so many facets to talking about crime. Baton Rouge has been in the midst of an uptick in violence. First up, your thoughts on all of the violence we're seeing running across our parish and in the city of Baton Rouge.
Well, first of all, I have to say that the crime that we see in Baton Rouge is crime that's happening all over America. And sociologists have said that a lot of the uptick has been due to COVID-19. Nevertheless, we started in office with public safety in mind. We have a great police chief who has been implementing law enforcement strategies from the Real-Time Crime Center to reorganizing his team to make it more efficient and effective. And now we also have the community component, because crime is a very complex issue. So we have the community component now that is being highlighted through our Safe, Hopeful, and Healthy initiative, which involves community intervention. So we have resident leaders that are being trained, I should say. We have folks who are being trained as violence interrupters.
Now, what is that? Because you hear that phrase a lot, violence interrupter.
So oftentimes people in the community can be and do intervention with potential crime that they see emerging in the community. Because they're known in the community, and if they're, for example, feuds that they can see that are emerging, they can help diffuse that. But it's all of them being part of the community and people recognizing and respecting them as part of the community.
People ask specifically what the department is doing, and at some point we're going to have a conversation with Chief Paul. He's going to be here sitting in that chair. When people ask what is BRPD doing to address this crime, particularly in these hot zones, what's going on? Well,
you kind of gave the answer there. I do know that BRPD is targeting those areas where we see the uptick of crime. They have been able to identify that through technology and data. And so Chief Paul is directing officers, uniform patrol, out in those specific areas that are the hot spots.
I want to come back to that. I want to talk a little bit more about your relationship with Chief Paul. I want to talk specifics about where law enforcement is headed and just what the public can look forward to in the second half of this year. We'll continue with Mayor Broome after the break. continuing our conversation with Mayor President Sharon Weston Broome. As we were going into break, I was asking you about some of the specifics that the department is doing to address crime in some of these hot zones, and want you to continue before we move on.
Yeah, as I said, one of the initiatives is that BRPD has been building relationships in terms of community policing. And so that helps in terms of solving many of the cases. But in addition, Baton Rouge Police Department has been strategically going out into areas where crime exists. Look, Clay, I have to share this with you, and that is we have a police department that is on the ground working. But as you notice, crime is taking place in folks' homes,
Right.
in private settings,
Right.
domestic violence, et cetera. So to think that a police officer is going to be at every setting where somebody, for example, has a road rage incident or decides that they want to settle an issue by pulling out a gun.
Like the shooting at the nightclub a couple of days ago.
So the police are not going to be at every spot.
Yeah.
But that is why it's so important to have a strategy that not only includes the police who are there to protect and serve, but also the community who can complement what the police department is doing by being boots on the ground.
You know, people have said that the police chief is just an extension of your office. I want to give you a chance to speak to that. Candidly, specifically, the charge that Chief Paul is just a puppet of Mayor Broome and she's running BRPD from City Hall. What's your response to
Well,
that?
first of all, I have enough on my plate than to try to run BRPD. But secondly, Chief Paul was hired because he's a leader in his own right. And anybody who knows Murphy Paul knows that he's nobody's puppet. So that couldn't be farther from the truth either. I trust Chief Paul. We have a lot of conversations. Sometimes I'm in agreement with the direction. Sometimes I'm not in agreement, but I trust him. I think he's a stellar leader. Was very delighted that even recently his leadership was acknowledged by the President of the United States and being invited, and the only chief of police to give voice to those issues at that round table. So that is not true. He is not my puppet. He is his own man and his own leader.
Are you pro law enforcement? Are you pro BRPD?
I am pro law enforcement. I am pro people, period. So let's talk about that. That's another rumor that's out there. Why in the world would I be against a police department that is part of city parish government, that is part of being my employees? What I have been trying to do is to establish a 21st century police department that is sensitive not only to doing their job, which is part of 21st century policing, but understanding the dynamics with the community. I have been, just like any other CEO, if you recognize you're having challenges in an area, you want to improve in that area. There's no doubt that there's been a strain between our police and the community, and so one of our objectives has been to close that gap.
So where does it come from? Where does it come from, the narrative that you are not in favor of the department?
Tell me. I don't know where it comes from. I don't know. You know, there are a lot of narratives out there that are promulgated that come from an origin that who knows. I have no idea. Maybe people feel like because I am working with the chief and our goal is to make sure that we have a stellar police department, and listen, whenever you try to change culture that has existed for decades and generations and try to move from the status quo, people will talk about you. You will get resistance. People will create narratives about you.
Hold your thought right there. We got to take a break. She's on a roll. I hate to do that. Got to pay the bills. Mayor President Sharon Weston Broome is our guest. We'll be back in just a second. All right, back with a pretty fired up Mayor President Sharon Weston Broome talking about law enforcement and where you are. I mean, it's out there, and that's the discussion about law enforcement has become political. And to state really clearly, I support men and women in law enforcement, and I also support people in communities who depend on law enforcement.
Right.
And the discussion so often becomes inflammatory, and you can't get to the heart of what we need to do to address this. So just final question on that. If you're a BRPD officer right now, and they're watching you and listening to you, what confidence can they get that you got them and that things are going to get better as time moves along?
They can be confident in knowing that Chief Murphy Paul is the police chief, and he is doing everything possible to make sure that Baton Rouge Police Department is an upstanding organization that is adhering to 21st century policing. They can be assured that their mayor supports their police chief as he moves the department forward. So, you know, we need to stop all this divisiveness about you're for the police, you're against the police. As I said, I am pro-people. I am pro my police department. I am pro my community.
Yeah.
And I want to see us close any gaps that exist.
Sure.
And Clay, I have to say this. I started saying this. Any CEO that has challenges within his or her organization is going to tackle those challenges. Let's face it, when I came in office in 2017, it was after the killing of Alton Sterling. We had a lot of work to do to try to close that gap. And I will say that our police department has been working to close that gap, and it's been demonstrated in the community policing efforts, but we always have to continue to work towards improvement. A 6% raise is a step in the right direction.
But it's not there yet, though. But
Yeah.
we got to do. That's a great start, as you're
Yeah,
saying.
it's a great start.
But there's going to be effort to do more.
Oh, absolutely. Listen, I want all of my employees, our essential workers, our first responders, all departments deserve to be paid for their commitment to public service and being there for the people of Baton Rouge.
Let's talk about the people of Baton Rouge. We're soggy. Is flooding. The drainage has been a big issue this week. There was money approved to address some of the drainage issues that have existed in this parish for decades because of the growth and expansion of the city, the parish. So what are we doing to address this situation that many of us haven't ever seen before?
Yeah, you know, first I will tell you that indeed, when I think about when I first came to Baton Rouge, and the weather experiences we had then decades ago to now, it's obviously been a shift.
Right.
You know, one reporter described the rain as showers on steroids. Absolutely. Recently we had, 13 inches of rain in a matter of an hour.
Yeah.
Over inundated our antiquated systems. But we have been working since I have been in office. Post-2016 flood, which I was impacted in.
So you said something, and we're right up against the break. I want to come back. You referenced the antiquated system, and that is where I'd like to focus. What are we doing to modernize a system that seems to be causing all of this misery? Some people have had their homes flood 3 times since 2016. So we'll come back. We'll talk with Mayor President Broome about drainage and then some final thoughts. Stay where you are. All right, back with Mayor Broome talking about drainage. I want to also get to Amazon before we're done with this segment. Quickly, you referenced the antiquated system. Okay, what's being done to address that
Well,
system?
first of all, we are addressing the issue of mitigating flooding overall.
All right.
It's an ongoing process.
Okay.
For example, recently we just dedicated nearly $20 million of our American Rescue Plan dollars to deal with about 4,800 areas in our community that we've identified that we can work on that will hopefully give us more immediate relief. Then we have our long-term projects. Clay, many of our waterways help us in mitigating flooding. Waterways like Jones Creek, Wards Creek, Beaver Bayou, Bayou Manchac, Blackwater Bayou. So we have that project that will be starting very soon, a $350 million project to help with those waterways. So flooding, just like many of our issues, the mitigating flooding, I should say, is a process, but we are well on our way.
So, I think that we can probably come back at some point in the future and spend just an entire show talking about that, making people understand the history.
Bring Fred in.
And we'll bring Fred Rayford, and he's probably checking potholes right now. The announcement about Amazon was earlier this week as we sit here today. Let's talk about what that means for Baton Rouge.
Well, it's a big win for Baton Rouge, and what's really interesting for so many months, people were like, what are you going to do about Cortana Mall? What are you going to do about Cortana Mall? And I couldn't tell them that we were in discussions, because of disclosure issues with Amazon. But thanks to a partnership with, the state, our local government here, we were able to sees that project is going to be transformative in so many ways. Certainly economic development, 1,000 jobs. It's going to light up that area in a big way.
Sure.
And as you know, business attracts business. So, folks will need increased housing. We'll need stores, surrounding that area. So I'm very optimistic and delighted.
I'm glad you came in and sat with us. We got to do this again. We didn't even get to cover everything we could have covered. This is episode number 1. I want to thank everybody who helped get us to this point. You see the people in the room here who helped us out, and we look forward to talking with you more over the next few weeks as we talk about the things that matter to you. Thank you to Mayor President Sharon Weston Broome, to Big Mel, to Matt, to Landon, to Big Ed and Master Control, Kayla, Cameron, Alyssa, everybody who helped get here. It's we, not me. See you next week.